So we wanted to share one of a real fresh car, right?
Brand new.
Brand new. Just got over 500 miles on it, ready for Good Guys Hot Rod of the Year competition here in Nashville, Tennessee. But we have Brad Ayres here with us in his Deuce 32 sedan. So Brad, tell us a little bit about the build and what maybe the color and the name of the car and so forth. Just give us a little history.
Well, this car, a friend of mine that I worked with, his brother had a sedan body, and I had seen pictures of it on the internet, and it was already chopped. And I think this car had actually been chopped probably back in the 70s or 80s. But so we struck a deal. I got the car, I got the body and the frame. It was a bare frame. We got a few other parts that I didn't end up using. It was a bunch of old 32 parts that really we weren't going to use. So we started from the ground up. I brought the whole car over to my dad's, and we mocked everything up, and he built the chassis for me. My dad's he's a master fabricator, so he built the jig, and he basically built the whole car to fit the wheels and tires, so it would sit right, everything would be right. We set it all up, and then I took it back to my house and massaged the body. The body was really good on the car. It had a few areas here and there, but and I've been searching for colors for this car, and I was going to do a black paint job because I really like black paint jobs, but anyway, so I had this car out, and I really like Washington Blue, which is an original 32 Ford color. And a lot of the ones I'd seen were way too dark, and I really wanted a blue that would pop and look like a blue, but yet it still took on different shades. So I had the car out, and I was kind of standing around, and I looked at my trash can, and it was in the light, and it had a really nice shade of blue. So I basically took a picture of my trash can and brought it to my paint shop, and we flipped through color chips and everything, and I found the color, and it was almost matches exactly. And so this car has really been named the trash can sedan, which a lot of people say it's not a trash can, but I built this car to be real utilitarian. That's why it's got a satin paint job on it. Everything's really easy to get to. The battery is under the hood, the master cylinder's under the hood. Everything's double grounded. It has air. We did the whole thing. I'm just shaking it down this weekend, so I mean, it's really, you know, it's kind of nerve-wracking the first time you drive a car and put at least the first 1,000 miles on it. So.
And what I think is really cool as well is you've done the entire car plus the interior.
And interior.
Is this your first interior?
This is my first interior. I'll open the door. I've done some interior work, and I have a good friend that does interior work, and he helped me do the front seat. And I told him, he said, bring it over, we'll do the carpet and everything. Well, he was in the process of doing his interior in the car he just bought. And so I just went over there, and we kind of talked about different seams and how to do things. And I got my wife's embroidery machine out, which had more power than you know, a stock sewing machine. And I just went to town. I bought some carpet, and the material was free to me. It was given to me, and most of the interior work I did, you know, I literally have probably $400 in this interior. I mean,
and heat and air conditioning, the works inside.
It has vintage air and everything. Very comfortable. It rides great. Like I said, Dad, we set up the chassis so it would ride like it does. It's got you want to come around the front end. Car's got a 5-inch dropped axle, which a lot of guys think is too low, but I've got a ton of ground clearance. I built the Model A, and it had a 4-inch dropped axle, and I just didn't like it sat too high. And I really like the low down look with headlights low, really chopped, good chop. And so the car's set up to run like it is, so it's really done pretty well right now. I mean, it's rolling pretty good. There's a few little kinks to work out,
but it's a fresh car. You're gonna have that. It's a fresh car.
Yeah, you don't know how they work until you break them. So
right, and some of the custom touches, I noticed the cowl vent is all power.
Yes, it's power.
Right.
That was kind of I'm not really for modern conveniences in a lot of these cars, but to get the cowl vent to work, I'm really strong on tradition. Like, the windshield has to open, the cowl vent has to work. I like a soft top. I like the car to look like a hot rod 32 Ford, you know, somebody would have built in the 50s, but still have all the modern, you know, conveniences and stuff. But so yeah, I ended up having to do a little power unit and make it work, because the air unit was way up under the dash. There wasn't a lot of room to make the big rod work, you know, and so it just ended up being that way, and it turned out it's pretty cool, and it's actually functional. It brings in a lot of air, the windshield opens, everything works. So.
And how many cars does this make for you to personally build?
Well, I probably been building hot rods since I was 14, and I'm 47 now, so this is probably my 5th hot rod that we built from ground up. I used to build VWs before this, and I was in that scene for a while, but this always sucked me back to hot rods are where it's at. I mean, that's kind of our forte, and my dad's always been in hot rods. He got me into it. But yeah, I'm glad to be back in a hot rod that I can enjoy and drive.
And do you have any more projects in the works?
Yeah, Dad and I are actually building. We've chopped some fiberglass bodies. I did one myself. When he was out of town, he lived in Arizona for 10 years, and a friend of mine had bought a car, and he wanted it chopped more, and it was a fiberglass bebop's body. And the way it was set up, it was really easy to chop and make it work because it had outer hinges and everything was right. Yeah, so I kind of always wanted to chop a glass car because they're more affordable for people, and I'm all about affordability. You know, I do all this stuff myself, so I chopped that car, and it turned out it's a pretty top-notch hot rod. And he ended up selling it, and a friend of ours bought it. But right now we're working on a 3-window, and it was a lot more challenging. And my dad's retired, so he has a lot more time than me. And he actually chopped it and did all the fitting on it. He has a wedge chop and everything. And when he's done mocking up everything, he's going to bring it to my house, and I'll do what I did to this car. So we're kind of between me and him, we kind of do a little bit of everything. There's pretty much nothing we're not afraid to do, or we kind of dive into everything. If we had a lot more sophisticated tooling like a CNC, we'd probably be dangerous, but
well, if it turns out anything like your sedan or like the 5-window, and you can see the 5-window in a previous build, a dream car, right, for Scott.
Yeah.
If it turns out anything like that car and this car,
yep,
I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yep, it will.
Let's give a quick walk around of this Special 32, the trash can sedan.
Trash can sedan.
And thanks for Brad for showing us
Not a
his new
problem.
ride.